So hello students, how are you? So today we have a Apurva ma'am, so who will be telling you about the DFT opportunities and the career about the VLSI and the DFT mainly. Fine. So hello ma'am, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm good.
Fine. So let us start now. So can you tell me about your introduction, education background, current company, role and hobbies?
Okay. So, my name is Apurva Gupta and I live in Delhi. And I did my schooling from Delhi in Bal Bharati Pitampura school. It's a good school. And from there, I got to know that I have a passion towards science. And from there on, I decided that I can do engineering. And from there, I gave multiple examinations of engineering right after my 12th, which is IIT JEE Mains, JEE Advanced, then IP exam, BITSAT. And then I got my admission into Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Technology. It's a college under IP University. And did my bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering. Then the main turn came when I was in third year and I had to think of future opportunities. So at that time, I thought that MTech could be a good option. So I went for GATE examination and then I gave my GATE exam in electronics, from where I got my rank All India and I got admission into IIIT Delhi, which is in South Delhi, Okhla. And then I did my MTech for 2 years in VLSI. And from where I got my campus placement. So this was about my intro and my education background. Coming to company, so from my final year, I got placed into Western Digital, which is SanDisk. We have heard about this company. And I did my 6 months of internship at Western Digital, followed by 2 years of full-time there. And then around 1.5 months back, I joined Qualcomm Noida. So this is about my current company. So I'm working as a senior hardware engineer and in the VLSI domain. So this is my current role. And hobbies, the most interesting question is, yes, you definitely need hobbies while you are in a working class. So currently my hobbies are traveling, and this is one hobby which I like to explore, like whenever I get my free time.
Okay.
That was about myself.
So BTech college was IP University, right?
Yes.
So what is the admission process for this?
So there's an exam for IP University.
Okay.
It's a general exam in which you can get admission into a number of colleges.
It is through the JEE Mains or
no? It's a separate exam. At that time, it was a separate examination.
Currently, it is JEE Mains.
Yes. So.
Okay. So current company is called from. Role is hardware engineer.
Yes.
DFT.
So it's senior engineer.
It is in DFT.
It's in DFT. Yes.
Okay. Fine. That is traveling work.
Yes.
So now coming to the next question. So you said your college was for the masters IIT Delhi, right? So what is the course curriculum, admission process, lab facilities, fees and the placements? So can you discuss about this, please?
Okay. So coming to coursework, IIIT Delhi has defined a very detailed and a great coursework in terms of like we are able to get a lot of choices amongst the electives, so we can easily choose amongst those subjects and decide how we want to shape our career or how we want to decide our the domains that we want to go. For example, if you want to go in an AI-based domain, AI-based field, you have such kinds of electives to choose. For ML you have, for VLSI you have, for signals and communication you have, for microwave and radar also you have such kinds of electives. So good part is you get ample amount of choices. You're not forced into going to one particular domain. So I chose VLSI and embedded systems, and particularly I would say I had most of my electives related to VLSI design flow, which told completely about the chip cycle.
So how many ratings you will be giving to the coursework of IIIT Delhi out of 5?
I think I would give 5 on 5 on this.
Okay, 5 on 5.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is a good college, obviously. So what is the admission process for IIIT Delhi? It is through the GATE or without GATE?
Yes. So there are 2 ways to get admission. I would say one more way is there, but let's talk about the 2 primary ways. you can get admission right after your BTech. So one is the most common one which we all give, that is the GATE examination. And based on your GATE ranks, you get maybe shortlisted for the other interview rounds, which can be 2 or 3 depending. And then you can give interviews right after your GATE examination. So this is the first primary and the most common process. Then second is where lesser number of students are selected, which is the examination that IIIT Delhi conducts by themselves. So it is different from the GATE examination. And here you can say around 10 or maybe less than that are selected. So they it can be like based on your earlier work you have done, or the gradings that you got during your BTech. But there is a small examination also. So cumulative of these 3 decides that you will be capable enough of doing MTech there. So these are the 2 main things.
Around what should be the rank for the GATE rank? If we talk about rank.
Okay.
Cutoff, like it is 2,000, 3,000 rank.
Yes.
What is the rank?
So I'll tell you, my rank was around 1,000.
1,000.
Yes, but it's not like it depends on you completely. I was capable of getting.
We have students from 2,000
Yes.
also and 3,000 also. So around 2 and 3,000 is the cutoff. Right?
Yes.
So there is the admin like interview process also after the GATE, or
Yes.
they can directly take.
Yes, so there is rank plus interview process right after the GATE. So definitely your rank also matters, and what you perform in your interview.
Also, a percentage matters or not?
Definitely, BTech minimal percentage there is there, small which you need
And
to
also, some students says like if the gap is there after the BTech and MTech, that gap will matter in the admission or not?
I can't really, if you're able to justify a reason for that gap, then it will not matter.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. So how is the lab facilities there?
So at IIIT Delhi, we have a couple of labs for like embedded. If you have something to do on a controller, or you have some piece of code to run and check, then you have ample of lab opportunities there. There are certain subjects which require a lot of lab work to be done. So there is feasibility of doing your work at any time of the day. I mean, you can have access to labs at night also to complete your assignments. So these are accessible, and
so lab facilities out of 5, how much you will
yes,
give?
5 on 5. Yeah.
Okay. So what about the fees? So some students are complaining about the fees. It is a really expensive college. So
Yes. So
like-
it's right that fees is slightly on the higher side for every semester. But the good part is that you also get opportunity to teach
Yeah.
BTech students.
Okay.
And yes.
stipend is there.
Yes.
How much is the stipend?
So stipend is around 13 to 14,000 per
13 to 14,000.
month that we use.
That is
to
for the
pay.
ministry only.
Yes, that has been devised by the government itself. So somewhere you can compensate this.
Yeah, also loan facilities are there,
Yes.
and obviously in the second year itself you will start getting the internships.
Exactly.
So obviously that is fine. So what about the placements? Like which companies and how many companies? So what it is 100% placement or not 100% placement? So
Okay. So I wouldn't say that it's a 100% placement assured, but yes, you get assistance till you get placed from our what do you call it? The
TNP.
Huh?
Training and placement
Yes,
center.
TNP cell, exactly. So placements can be that you just get internship, or you just get full time, or you might get internship plus full time. And even after your two-year course ends, you can get like assistance from them, like they're giving you opportunities. And then definitely, if you have your peers going into some companies, you have built a network, you can definitely ask them for reference.
Yeah, obviously, like off campus you are saying reference
Exactly.
is
Off
there.
campus is huge.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends, when it was a Corona time,
Yeah.
and there was definitely
Suppose they are not getting a full PPO in the company. So like TNP will helping or not?
Yes, they will definitely help.
Also.
You need to just contact them and tell them your requirement. It will.
So next question, how you prepare for the placements?
Okay.
So you are 21 pass out. So
Yes.
it is almost 2 years now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like for placements, I would say you have to prepare breadth as well as depth.
Yeah.
As a fresher, you don't really know that you will be going into DFT.
Yeah,
if
it
I'm
is
talking-
journal profile. Company will coming to your college for the journal profile, but the off campus in the advertisement they have written it is for the DFT profile. physical design or DFT or like whatever it is, TP or PD. So for the on-campus, you have to prepare for all these profiles, general profile.
Yes. So as a fresher, you generally don't get to decide in which domain you have to enter, and definitely it's based on what company has like loopholes. Like if they have people for DFT required, then they would hire you for DFT. So that is why I said you need to prepare breadth-wise as well as depth-wise.
Yeah.
So. And talking about, yes, general process of the placements, I would say like definitely revise all your VLSI important subjects for the curriculum. And if you get to know like it's a design based profile, they would go for design questions. If an STA based profile, they'll go for timing questions. And yes, mandatorily coding and aptitude 1 or 2 questions they will ask just to check the general logic.
Even puzzles they ask.
Yes, puzzles, exactly.
So how you prepare for the test? Test is there, interview is there.
Yes.
So test plus interview. So generally how many rounds are there for the on-campus, and how to prepare for the test? It is technical plus aptitude, right? So how you prepare for this thing? It is GATE previous question, like GATE examiner preparation is sufficient, I guess, for the aptitude, and for the technical also. From the digital electronics and analog, previous questions are also useful. Sometimes they ask the direct questions also, right?
Yes.
For the interview, and you can discuss about this.
So as you said, for test, definitely there is GATE subjects which are coming. So if just keep in mind that even if you have GATE exam done, the life doesn't end there. You have to carry this on for your 2 years until you get placed, because all major companies, if you are going as a fresher, would have a test. I think I gave test for 4 or 5 companies, and around 60 to 70% of the questions were from GATE directly, or maybe same concept. And then yes, aptitude also from the GATE, plus they would have 2 or 3 English questions or some logical reasoning questions. So this is the test part. Coming to the interview part, it again depends company to company. For WD, I gave around 4 to 5 rounds. I mean, the final round was for the...
All were technical.
Yes, all were technical. One was HR round, so we can exclude that. So around 4 technical rounds. So, but yeah, I've generally seen that minimum 3 rounds are there. For
minimum 3 rounds.
Yeah, minimum 3 are there as technical.
It is for the internship or PPO, like full time?
Yes, for full time only I'm saying. So generally I would say...
and what about the internship? You have done the internship also?
So yes. So 3 technical plus I would say 1 to 2 HR, depends. So for internship, I would say it's generally one or two rounds at the max they would ask, and the interview time would also be definitely short enough. So
what was the PPO process in the WD?
Okay, so it was like that. I was given internship plus full-time assurance from them.
Yeah.
So my journey started from my internship itself, and definitely the process was exhaustive enough. Like it had a couple of rounds, as I already told.
Yeah. Okay. So next thing is why you have chosen the DFT role? Because the company have given it.
You can say, and definitely now I am also liking it.
Yeah.
So as a fresher, like I didn't get really a choice. Definitely I could have shifted from DFT to some other domain, but as soon as I entered WD, the work that I was doing there, I liked it enough and I was enjoying it enough, so I never felt the need of changing it from DFT to some other domain. Now this is the simple answer to my question.
Sure. Next question is, would you please help our student to understand the DFT and the role it played in VLSI flow?
Okay. So, I mean, seeing 3 years of this VLSI journey, what I have seen is that there is one good part of DFT and one bad part. The good part that DFT people always have work. From the day one you start a project or a chip, DFT people will be there. The last day of the chip, DFT people are still standing there. So flag bearers and the final, you can say they are ending the project. So they are all throughout. So this is the good part. That means you will have work. I mean, I'm saying this thing just to mention.
Also, I will ask you about the full form of the DFT, because some students search the DFT and they start checking the discrete Fourier transform. So that is different thing and this is different thing. Some students who are like from BTech background, freshers are there. Discrete Fourier transfer. I asked one of my content writer that you have to submit the questions for the test series for the DFT. So he has submitted me the DFT mathematical questions from the signal processing.
Okay. So I've written it. It's simple, designed for testing.
Yeah.
And to just explain in one line, I would say in the best way how you can design your chip so that later it becomes so easier to test and tell that is it a faulty chip or is it a good chip.
Yeah.
It's the simplest explanation.
Basically, number of the faults we can calculate through this.
Yeah. Yes. So how good you are designing your chip so that you make
also,
your testing
I will
easier.
ask you about what is the difference between the verification and DFT. So you can discuss in the next slide.
So this is one question I have come across a lot of time, that what is DFT and what is verification. So in simplest way, I will answer this question like you got your chip manufactured from the fab. Let's say you were able to get your chip and drawing this small chip and pads on the boundary. Okay. And there is so complexity in this chip. There is some logic sitting in this chip. And you might have, let's say we all know an AND gate. We have a gate called AND gate. Okay. There was a faulty AND gate. Or let's say during lithography, there was some fault. There's happened to be some dust sitting there, which caused this AND gate just to get stuck at 0. Like it was never showing 1. So that means the logic failed there. DFT is doing that writing of pattern to detect where my fault is and identify if it's a faulty chip or it's a good chip.
So fault can be, it is from the design side as well as some outer conditions like atmosphere and all.
Definitely. It can, yes, there can be ample of reasons why faults are there. Manufacturing defects can be there. There can be some other defects that two wires are. Yes, design part. For example, two wires are so close enough, like the signal coming on one wire is affecting the signal on the other wire. There can be ample of reasons why defects can be there. So this is the main agenda why DFT is done. Coming to verification part, which is broad enough. Why? Because you have so many IPs, you have pads, you have so many logic ports there. So verification is a very broad phenomenon of saying like how we are verifying each of our IPs or the functionality in our gates, everything.
SOCs.
SOC, exactly. Yeah. So it's end-to-end verification of the SOC.
Yeah. It is basically coding based also, right? It is mainly coding based, and this is a coding is there in this?
I would say more of
small coding.
Scripting is there.
Okay, automation.
Yes.
Okay. So Perl is better, like which scripting language is best for this?
So languages wise, industry is using Perl, Tickle and Python. Good amount, like these.
It depends on the project to project, also manager to manager and company to company.
Yes.
Yeah. So which is the simplest according to you?
So I would say it's good to start with Tickle.
Tickle, okay.
Tickle, yes. And Perl and Python, like it depends. Yeah. You can choose based on the.
Basically, if you learn one language, you can easily learn the other language within 1 week. That is sufficient, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Now, next question is, what are the career opportunities in the DFT basically?
Okay. So, to answer this question, there is one small slide which can explain the DFT career opportunities. And I would say that I'll be discussing DFT opportunities before the chip is getting manufactured. So that is why the classification is pre-silicon. There are definitely people who work post-silicon also, but here I have not included. So pre-silicon, there are 5-6 categories written here: ATPG, SCAN, MBIST, IOs, that is testing IOs, and then finally your test controllers based on JTAG. So coming to the most common one, which I have seen like around 70% of the people are doing ATPG. And classification, what all they are doing in ATPGs, first, pattern generation. For example, if you want to check a complete logic, okay, let's say start point and end point. So you need patterns of 1s and 0s to check where fault is. For example, I want to check a fault here. And for that, I have to write 0 here. So this is called as pattern generation from start to end. So here you have two major categories, which is SAF and TDF. SAF is stuck at faults, TDF is transition faults. Not going into details here, but these are the two main categories. Then you have whatever patterns are being generated, you apply them. So basically, when you apply, you are simulating in your logic. So the second part is pattern simulation. And finally, the third part is coverage debug. So this is one very important term. What is coverage debug? For example, I have 100 places in my design which can be faulty. Okay. Now, due to some reason, I am just able to cover 96 of the places where I can test my faults. So what will I say? My coverage debug is around, my coverage is around 96 of 100. So 96%. I am able to cover only 96% of the faults. So engineers basically debug why they are not able to get this coverage to 100%. Ideally, definitely not 100, but ideally 100. So this is what the people are doing, like debugging why the coverage is not enough. Coming to the second category, which is scan. So here people start from scan planning. Scan planning is like how many scan in and scan out ports I need to give from the SOC level as well as block level. Then you have scan RTL insertion, like you can insert EDT and OCCs. These are some complex terms, how to insert scan in the design. So generally you cannot have 100 pads coming from the top and going inside, like 100 scan-in pads. You definitely have limitation on the pads. So there we use compression phenomenon. Then finally you have different clocks that are being used in scan. For example, your functional frequency is 1 gigahertz. You cannot work at that high frequency in test time. So that is why you come down to lesser frequencies when you are in scan modes. So all this of scan clocking design, that is also done by scan. And finally, you check for scan DRCs, like if you have some reasons of why you are not able to make a flop scannable. So you check for the rule checks, why I'm not able to make the design scan compliant. So this is all about scan. Then third is MBIST. It means you are testing memories. So you have a lot of memories in the design and you need to test them also. So I have seen some amount of people working in MBIST domain. There they do MBIST planning. Then they have a top level server insertion which controls all the memories in the design. Then you have pattern generation, similar to what logic we have ATPG. For memories, you have the memory pattern generation. And finally, you do the verification of your memory server. Then coming to the fourth category, which is testing my IOs. Now IOs have their AC characteristics or DC characteristics. So you have couple of things that you want to check for IOs. For IOs, there is generally one common standard of IEEE for which we insert the boundary scan. What is boundary scan? For example, for a SOC, you have so many IOs sitting outside the SOC. You will have a boundary scan cell for each of the IO, which will go in a serial chain mechanism. So this will help in board level testing. So this is about boundary scan generation. And for similar thing, like I told about patterns, you will have patterns for these boundary scan. Coming to why do we insert boundary scan? This is because of the characterization of IOs. For example, I want to check my IO is able to go from logic 0 to logic 1. So this pattern is covered as part of IO characterization, and this we can easily do based on with the use of our boundary scan. And finally, coming to the last category, which is JTAG based controller. So JTAG, there is a specific communication way how we can operate our test logic, and this has tap in sitting. Tap is basically, you can say, controller which works on an FSM, and it has main ports called TDI, TMS, TCK and TDO. So based on these 4 ports, it is able to communicate to all the DFT related interfaces that we have added. So this is done from the top level mostly. So we send patterns using these 4 ports, and we are able to communicate everything inside our chip. So this is one tab-based programming. Here we mostly work using our global test mode. Like you can have one common test mode for your SOC chip, and then you can have MBIST test mode, scan mode, ATPG mode. So one global test mode and other test mode. So this global test mode you can define using your JTAG based controller, and finally you can do the verification use of your JTAG. So these were all the pre-silicon opportunities that you can get in your DFT.
So this coverage is same as the verification coverage, like functional coverage and code coverage.
It is different. Okay. Yes. It is.
But is it code based? It is coding is there? In which profile coding is there and which are not coding?
So slight amount of coding you can get here.
JTAG. Yes. JTAG, I guess device is there, right?
Yes.
Device is there.
So JTAG based, you can slight amount of coding can be there. But in mostly others, you get scripting, and definitely there are tools which generates these patterns. Because you see, there is around in lakhs where logic is there, gates are there, flops are there. So you can't manually write 1010. You would need a tool or automation.
So which tool we are using generally?
So it is different for all.
Company to company.
Yes. And mostly you can see vendors are from Synopsys.
Cadence and Synopsys.
Siemens. Yes.
Graphics.
Exactly.
So now going to the next thing. These are the career opportunities. So according to which career career in the DFT is the best according to you?
So nothing is best and nothing is worst, but yes, what is
you have to learn all profiles in the DFT.
See, yes, if you are able to get all the opportunities at some point of time in your DFT career.
Let's suppose you want to switch your company. You have worked in ATPG and you want to switch to the JTAG. It is possible?
Yes, it is possible. Definitely it's possible. Like I can talk about myself. In Western Digital, I was mostly on JTAG part and IO's part. And when I shifted to Qualcomm, I'm mostly on scan part. So you can get different opportunities when you are switching.
Okay, fine. So going to the next part. Future scope of the DFT and VLSI basically, and mainly about the DFT in India.
Okay. So good part and fun fact that it is escalating. It's not declining. And you see wherever the chip is, we are there. We are needed. We are the workhorses wherever the chips are needed. It's an automobile chip. It's a compute chip. It's a memory based chip. You are needed. So ample opportunities are there for VLSI.
So it is an exponentially growing sector.
Yes. It's escalating definitely. There is a boost for the industry.
Yeah. So how many years it will be getting it will take to get saturated according to you?
Don't really know, but yes, new technology is coming in which can improvise the flows of
but
DFT.
According to me, for at least 10 years it will be growing sector only.
Yes, definitely.
So next going to the impact of AI ML on the DFT and VLSI industry. What can be it can have the job cutting on the DFT part. What?
See, I would say an AI engineer would know the algos part, but only the DFT engineer would know the design and the defect part.
Yeah.
So it will never replace. It might create new opportunities. And yes, DFT people will also be learning the AI part. So it will never be that cutting part that you will be removed. And maybe you will be given an opportunity to explore this part to help you.
It means DFT people can learn the AI and it can help the VLSI industry.
Definitely.
This is so.
Yes.
So next thing is job market in VLSI in India right now. Yes. And what is the tips for the recession? Right now recession is going on for a long time.
Yes.
So students should wait for the 1 year for the recession or two years or they should up skills, get the job what they are getting and then switch the job.
Yes. So I would say definitely if you have to choose amongst these two, this is much better than waiting. So I myself switched in a recession time where there was very, very less job roles in companies especially for DFT. But yes, if you are able to skill yourself into different domains of DFT, chances are high that as soon as the recession period ends, you can switch in a better role as and when you get that requirement.
There is no useful for going for waiting, right?
No.
Because even if the opportunity is coming, people are there no, who are working hard daily basis.
Exactly.
They will get the opportunities first rather than these people, right?
And one more thing, there are contract based jobs also.
Yeah.
Like you get an employment only for 6 months or 8 months to work on an IP. Maybe DFT, maybe DV, depends.
Like service based company, Mirafra and all.
Yes. Yeah. So go for the contract based job. When you find right opportunity, you can definitely switch.
Yeah, next thing is now BTech. According to you, BTech is necessary or it is sufficient for to have a MTech is necessary or BTech is sufficient for getting the job in VLSI, or according to you, MTech is compulsory to get the VLSI job? Because I myself have not done any MTech. I have done only BTech only.
Okay, so it depends here, because it matters from the place where you are doing your BTech or what exact opportunities you could get during your BTech. If you were able to get those, let's say you want to end up in a VLSI industry, and if you were able to get those choices and those subjects in your BTech itself, then definitely you have an opportunity to go into the VLSI industry from here itself. But let's say like I felt that my BTech did not have that number of subjects to help me get an opportunity in VLSI, I had to do an MTech. It's simple enough.
Other question is, MTech from India is better or MS from the US according to you?
Okay. So I have my friends who have done MS from some good university in USA or some other elsewhere, and then they have come back to India itself for job. So if that kind of if you think that you have to come back to India and get a job, then I would say that it's up to you. You can simply go with MTech also from a good college.
It should be a good college, not a,
yes,
like local.
It should be a good college.
For the master, compulsory thing is good college. It can be private also, government also, but it should be a tier 1 college or like.
Yes, exactly. It should be a tier 1 college if you're doing MTech at least. But let's say you have minds of settling outside somewhere and doing job from there, then yes, definitely you should go with MS.
Also, you can get the job in US after doing the MTech from India. Is it possible?
Yes, it's possible. So you know that, right? MNCs have multiple locations. Yes.
But experience is needed, I guess, for this thing.
Yes.
So how much estimated experience is needed? Like 3, 5, 7?
Like I generally see vacancies starting from 3 to 5 years if you want to shift overseas. So it depends on you. Like if you want to go outside and experience, then you can.
Also within the project also they can call you, right?
Yes. You can get opportunity within your team itself.
So that, and if you want to shift to the US, it is not compulsory. You have to do the MS from the US only. You can go for like this cut also. Right?
Yes.
Now the final motivational tips for the student.
Okay, so I would say first, just what is your instinct saying? Like you want to go to VLSI or not, that you need to clarify first.
Yeah.
And secondly, you have to choose the right path of ending into VLSI. Like there are ample ways of ending into this VLSI industry. So never stop, just keep learning and keep upskilling. There are so many courses you can definitely take on, and for freshers also there are opportunities. So build your network and you can someday definitely get into VLSI.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
This was all about the today's podcast. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.